ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining me on the live stream today. And there's a very hot topic. The topic is about why your goals failed. Everybody is working towards something. Everybody wants to have a better future. Everybody wants to have more success. Everybody wants to make a lot more money. And so many people set goals, but they never achieve their goals. So my question for you, and I want you to comment in the comment box below, is have you set a goal and not achieved it? Because if you've set a goal and you haven't achieved it, you've probably made one of these common mistakes that I'm going to help you correct today. So make sure you post down below, have you set a goal and not achieved it? Now, if it's the first time joining me on the live stream, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to hit like, I want you to leave a comment, and I want you to press the follow button there, because there's always more good stuff to come at 3 p.m. here in Taiwan every day, 6 p.m. Sydney, and 8 a.m. in the morning in the UK. So why do people set goals and then they don't achieve those goals? Well, there's a formula of goal setting that you have to be able to follow. This is a very smart way to set your goals. And if you follow the smart formula, you'll be virtually guaranteed of success. Because if you just do what successful people do when it comes to setting goals, then you'll achieve the same results. Mick DeHaan, great to see you there. I have set goals that I haven't achieved. Good. I'm the same. I've set many goals, and there's always 5 reasons why I didn't achieve my goals. And we're going to start with that today. If you're new to goal setting, or if you're a seasoned goal setter, there's always more to learn about goal setting. Goals can be achieved faster, and goals can also be achieved with a lot less stress. So when it comes to goal setting, I follow what's called a SMART formula. The SMART formula in operation enables you to achieve your goals faster with less stress. So when you set your goals following the SMART formula, you've got to make sure that you just choose one specific goal. What people tend to do is when they set a goal, they tend to set multiple goals at one time. Well, what do I want to do? I want to make more money. I want to lose weight. I want to get rid of this boyfriend. I want to get a new boyfriend. I want to get a new car. I want to get a new house. I want to get a new kitchen. And I want to do all that at the same time. Unfortunately, it's too confusing for your mind. Remember this, your conscious mind is the goal setter, but your unconscious mind is the goal getter. And the language of your unconscious mind is the same level of language as your 10-year-old nephew or niece. It's the same level of language as your 10-year-old son or daughter. And your unconscious mind has a very simple language. So when you set the goal consciously, you have to make sure that your unconscious mind can process it. This is why we say goals need to be specific. Peter, thanks for joining us today. And Jacqueline, great to see you there also once again. So your goals have to be very simple. What does that mean? You've got to say your goals how you want it. Let me repeat that. You've got to say your goals how you want them. If you want to make more money, you have to say, I now earn $100,000. I now earn $100,000. That's how simple your goal needs to be. I now weigh 85 kilos. I now own 3 investment properties. I now drive a 7 Series BMW. That's how simple your goals need to be. Your goals also need to be very specific. You can't have a convoluted type of goal. You've just got to get to the point and say what you want. If you want the new iPhone, I now own an iPhone 12. Make it very simple. Keep it simple. So after you've set a goal that is simple and specific, you also need to have a goal that's measurable. Now, measurable means in terms of how much money do you want? So your unconscious mind is very literal. If you set a goal to make more money and you're walking down the street and you find $1 on the ground, my question to you is now, do you have an extra dollar? Yes, the answer is yes. If you set a goal to make more money and you walk down the street and you find $1 on the ground, do you have more money? Yes, you have more money. Here's the problem. The problem, if you have a goal to make more money, but you don't put a specific amount of money on there, your unconscious mind, which generates all of your behaviors, which is the goal getter, will see that dollar. It'll make your hand reach out there to pick it up and it'll say, hey, Daniel, I've just helped you make more money. And what happens is the unconscious mind then goes to sleep. It goes back to bed and it says, I've done my job. I'm out of here. And what happens to you? You pull your hair out and you say, that's not what I wanted. Well, you did. It's what you did want. You wanted more money and there's $1 on the ground and now you've got more money. And then you'll say to yourself, but that's not what I meant. I meant $10,000. So what you've got to do is you've got to say it how you want it. If it's $10,000, you have to set the goal so it says, I now earn $110,000, because your unconscious mind has to have a figure. It has to be able to calculate where you are today and where you want to be financially tomorrow, the next month, the next year. So your job is to give it a specific number. So let's get back to this dollar on the ground. Why is it that you've got more money? Every time you set a goal, you activate a part of your unconscious mind, which is called your reticular activation system. We'll just call it RAS, reticular activation system. And the job of the reticular activation system is to look for a match of your most dominant thought. That's what it does. Your reticular activation system looks for a match of your most dominant thought. So if you're always thinking about how do I make more money, your reticular activation system says, here's an idea that could help you make more money. There's $1 on the ground. I've just helped you make more money. Talk to this person over here and you'll make more money. That's the job of the reticular activation system. And once it accomplishes its mission, it shuts off, it goes back to bed. So if you say to yourself, I want to make more money, the unconscious mind says, reticular activation system, do your thing. And all of a sudden, you see $1 on the ground, you pick it up, you've got more money. And then you say, that's not what I want. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on today's live stream. If this is the first time you're joining me, press like, leave a comment, and make sure you follow me. And today's topic is about goal setting. So my question for you is, have you set a goal and not achieved it? And I want you to post this down below. Jacqueline says, I was literally explaining this to a client yesterday, and now it's here. Your reticular, I need a drink of water. Your reticular activation system is working, and it brought you all the way over here because this is a match to your most dominant thought. See how it works? You're here for a reason. Here we go. RAS. That's what it is. So, Melanie, can this goal setting be used on emotional goals? Well, an emotional goal, Melanie, is what we call a state. An emotional goal is an emotional state, and you don't have to set a goal to have an emotional state. You don't set goals to be happy. You don't set goals to overcome depression. You don't set goals to overcome anxiety. It's a different system. Your unconscious mind can get rid of those problems immediately. There's no need to set a goal. But let's do this, Melanie. What I want you to do is I want you to type down in the chat box below what your emotional goal is. And what you might find, it might be a behavior. Behaviors require time to develop, and you can set goals to develop new behaviors. You may want to increase your skills. Now, there's relating skills, achieving skills, and thinking skills. You can definitely set a goal for those. So you type down in the box below this emotional goal, and I'm going to help you figure it out. So your conscious mind is the goal setter. Your unconscious mind, which generates all of your behaviors, is your goal getter. So your goal has to be simple. It has to be measurable, and it's also got to be meaningful to you. Remember that. The goal has to be meaningful to you. If you set a goal and this goal doesn't excite you, if your heart doesn't sing when you set this goal, this is not the goal for you. If you're setting a goal for somebody else because it makes mum and dad happy, stop. You've already set yourself up for failure. Never allow somebody else to set your goals for you. If it doesn't excite you, if it doesn't make your heart sing, this is not the goal for you. And even if you do take that other person's goal and you work towards it, you'll regret yourself for doing it and you'll resent the other person. So the goal has to be meaningful to you. When you set this goal, you've got to ask yourself a realistic question. You've got to ask yourself this question: am I prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve this goal? Am I willing to do whatever it takes to achieve this goal? Am I willing to get out of bed early to achieve this goal? Am I willing to stay up late into the early hours of the morning to achieve this goal? Am I willing to beg, borrow, and steal to achieve this goal? Am I wanting to crawl over broken glass to achieve this goal? Yes or no? Are you willing to bleed for the goal? Now, if the goal doesn't excite you, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, if you're not willing to reinvent yourself, if you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone, if you're not willing to bleed and crawl over broken glass, that goal is not for you. And just be honest with yourself. Be totally honest with yourself. There is no shame in that. You're better off to say, I'm not prepared to do this, and go and find something where you say, absolutely, 100%, I'm prepared to do that. Because if you're not prepared to do it, you can go through all the goal-setting courses. You can write your goals down on a daily basis. You'll never achieve it because it doesn't excite you and it doesn't make your heart sing. This is emotional intelligence. So, are you willing to do whatever it takes? And if you are, then it's a meaningful goal. So, coming back to Melanie. Melanie, how to be more confident and how to be more happy. My dear, beautiful. There's no goal setting required for this. There's no goal setting required to have more confidence or to be more happy. This is a mental and an emotional state. Melanie, this has to do with your internal representations, the pictures you hold in your mind. It's to do with how you talk to yourself. It's your emotions, and you can call back confident states or happy states whenever you want. You can get into a depressed state by recalling it. And this is why people are depressed. They keep repeating these same negative experiences over in their mind. They keep replaying these emotions of sadness in their heart and their body. So you don't have to set a goal to be confident or happy. You can have it now. So Melanie, I'm holding an event tomorrow night, and it's about how you become a 7-figure coach. And on this event tomorrow night, Melanie, I will be doing a live coaching intervention. And in this, I'll be demonstrating how to overcome fears and self-limiting beliefs. And what you'll see is you're going to see an immediate transformation in my client as the client goes from having low confidence, low self-esteem to free from fears, free from the self-limiting beliefs, and immediately confident and more happy. So make sure you register for that. Message me personally and I'll send you over the link. So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't set goals for an emotional state. You can have those now. That's the secret to it. Dr. Joe, my brother, thank you for coming along, and I look forward to Monday night. And we're going to bleed for these goals, my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mick, yes, my event tomorrow night is at 8 p.m. here in Taiwan. It's going to be at 11 p.m. there in Sydney. And if you're willing to bleed for your goals and lose a little bit of sleep, I guarantee it's going to blow your mind. And it's especially for coaches. If you're thinking about becoming a coach, if you're a coach and you want more success, if you're a people helper and people come to you for advice all the time, you want to come to this event because I'm going to show you what I've done to build a 7-figure coaching business. I'm going to give you my strategies on what to do. I'm also going to tell you what not to do because I've failed a lot in goal setting, and I'm going to show you what you can do for immediate results and to grow your coaching business. You will love it. So Mick, it'll be 11 p.m. Sydney. Message me later on and I'll send you over the details. Peter, Confidence Live. Thank you so much. Melanie, please message me. So, is it meaningful to you? If the goal is not meaningful to you, move on, set something else. I would prefer to have no goal than to set a goal that wasn't meaningful for me. So if you're joining me live on the live stream, say hello. I want you to live, comment, and follow, and I want you to leave a message. Today's live is about, have you set a goal and not achieved it? And I want to hear your story in the chat box below. Now, thirdly, is your goal achievable? Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of personal things about myself, and so allow me to be vulnerable. One of the biggest problems that I've had in my life is I've tried to be perfect. I have this bad habit of being a perfectionist. And I know that I set standards on myself so high that only failure is possible. And since an early age, maybe 14 or 15, I used to set these goals that had no reality in time. So, for example, when I started wakeboarding, I set a goal to be an Australian champion in my first year of competition. The goal was too big. The standard was too high, considering that I was starting down here. And I put this expectation on myself because I was a perfectionist. I said, if I'm going to do it, I've got to be the best. Now, there's some great qualities in that, ladies and gentlemen, but in order for you to be able to become the best, you've got to become good at all the other steps first of all. So my goals were too big, too soon, and they had no basis in reality in that current time frame. Did I achieve the goal? Yes, I achieved the goal. I became an Australian champion 10 years after I set the goal. But unfortunately, there was so much pain along the way. There was so much disengagement along the way that I really didn't enjoy the journey. And it was because I set the standard too high, too soon. So this is what I learned, and this is what you can take away. You have to set goals that are achievable for you. You have to take all things into consideration. If you're setting an income goal, is it achievable? You might have a goal to make $1 million, but is it achievable in the climate of COVID-19? One of my goals was to make $1 million, and I said to my coach, I've got this goal to make $1 million. And the coach looked at me and he said, wonderful goal. Have you considered selling something else? And I said, what do you mean? He said, have you considered selling something else? I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm committed to what I'm doing. He said, Daniel, that goal is too big for what you're currently selling. Have you considered going and selling something else? Now, I didn't like what I heard, but it was the truth. See, the goal was not achievable based on what I was selling at that time. So you've got to look at yourself in the mirror and you've got to ask yourself, is this achievable based on where I'm starting from right now? Is it achievable based on the skills that I have already developed? Do I need more skills? Is it possible with the knowledge I have, or do I need to acquire more knowledge first? Is it achievable based on my current attitude? If I've got fears of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, fear of being taken advantage of, can I achieve that goal with those mental and emotional blockages in place? Now, if the answer is no, then the goal is not achievable and you've got to reset it. There's no shame in setting an achievable goal. There's wisdom in setting achievable goals. Claire, yes, a lot. It's so important to learn what your goal is and the effect it will have if you achieve it. But also, if you don't, to look at it is a learning curve to better yourself next time. I look at failure as a positive learning, 100%. I love that. So when you set your goal, you've got to ask yourself the question, is this achievable for me, all things considered? You might want to set a goal to have $1 million business. Is it achievable based on your life circumstances? Do you have time and resources and energy to build $1 million business if you've got 2 young babies? If you're getting up at all weird hours of the morning because you're breastfeeding, you're changing diapers, is it possible? Because if you set the goal and it's not possible, you're only going to, I like this one, write this one down. If you set a goal and it's not achievable, you'll embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. You'll embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. So set a goal that's achievable. What's an achievable goal? When you first start setting goals, ladies and gentlemen, your goals have to have a very small failure rate and a big success rate. What that means is this. When you set your first goal, it should have a 99% success rate and a 1% failure rate. Why is that? What you've got to do is you have to create a track record of success. If you set a goal at the start that has a 99% failure rate and a 1% success rate, you've already set yourself up for failure. It's like rolling the dice at the casino. It's out of your control. And you'll embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. So what you've got to do is you've got to set your first goal with a 99% success rate. And then what you do is you go out and achieve it. When you achieve it, you build up this mental resiliency. You build up, Melanie, this is important, you build up confidence and you say to yourself, I can do it. I can set goals and I can achieve goals. And as you get a little bit better, you adjust the numbers. You go from having a 99% success rate and a 1% failure rate, and you knock it back a little bit. You say, well, this goal will have a 98% success rate and a 2% failure rate. And what happens is when you succeed at that, you develop a success habit and simultaneously you get rid of a failure habit. Interesting, isn't it? Then what do? You set a goal that has a 97% success rate and a 3% failure rate. And what happens? You achieve your goals. And all of a sudden you quickly train your unconscious mind that every time you set a goal, you achieve it. And so you've got to retrain the subconscious mind. Old Uncle Daniel, he's full of wisdom, but you've got to listen to him. You've got to take action on what the old Uncle Daniel shares with you, because I study successful people and I work with people who have billion-dollar businesses. And I want to give you all the secrets. Okay? Just remember what Uncle Daniel taught you. Fourthly, your goals have to be realistic. Remember, they've got to be specific, they've got to be measurable, they've got to be achievable, and they've got to be realistic. There's certain things that you can do, and there's going to be things that you can't do, and you have to be realistic. Okay? You need to have a sense of reality. My body is not built for basketball. My body is not built for figure skating. I have a different style of body, and I have to take that into consideration when I set my goals, and I have to be realistic. So think about that. Melanie says, very mathematical method. This is the science of goal setting, Melanie. This is the psychology of success. And old Uncle Daniel knows it because he's made all the mistakes, but he's had all the big success as well. So after the goal is realistic, your goal has to be timed. It has to have a defined start time, and it has to have a defined end time. If you don't have a defined end time, what will happen is you'll say tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. What the Arabs say is bukra inshallah. Bukra inshallah. Tomorrow, God willing. Tomorrow, God willing. If you're South American, you'll say tamanya, tamanya, tamanya. See, what happens is if you don't have a defined end time on your goal keeps sliding out there into the future. But humans have what's called a compulsion to close. Remember this. Humans have what's called a compulsion to close. If you start something, you must finish it. I want you to think about this. When you go to the bathroom and you do a pee, if you start it, you've got to finish it, because what happens? If you start the pee and you've got to stop it halfway, later on you're going to pee your pants. Humans have a compulsion to close. If you start something, you must finish it. If you set a goal, you have to finish it by a determined time frame. And if you don't, you'll set yourself up for failure and you'll embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. So, Jacqueline, Tamanya, yes, indeed, Dr. Joe Isaac, much love to you, my brother. So let's have a quick review, ladies and gentlemen. If you're joining me on the end of this live, I want you to go back and rewind it, because this is all about how do you set and achieve goals. There's so much value in here. This knowledge here could accelerate your success by 10 years. It could multiply your success rates by 2 or 3 times this year if you just apply what the old Uncle Daniel teaches you. So if you're joining me for the first time, hit the like button, leave a comment, and make sure you follow me. Lives coming up every day at 3 p.m. Taiwan, 6 p.m. Sydney, and 8 a.m. in the UK. Wife, my jokes are much funnier than yours. Yes, my jokes are much better than yours, and I can prove it. But I love you. So your goals, ladies and gentlemen, have to be specific. They've got to be simple. They have to be measurable, and they have to be meaningful to you. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes, don't set the goal. If you're not willing to get up early morning and stay up late to achieve your goal, it's not the right goal for you. If you're not willing to reinvent yourself, it's not the goal for you. Because the danger here is if you set a goal and you don't achieve it, you install a failure habit. And then what will happen is at an unconscious level, you'll have these limiting beliefs that goal setting doesn't work for you. Don't do that to yourself. Don't embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. Don't set yourself up for failure. Because if you set a goal and you do it incorrectly and you fail, you could set yourself back 5 or 10 years. People who don't set goals correctly, they set themselves up for failure. They get left behind, they lose their reputation, they lose face, and they end up losing belief in themselves. Jacqueline, it made me giggle. Good morning. Much love to you. Your goal has to be achievable for you. When I grew up, I had a lot of learning disabilities. I had a linear sequential learning disability. I had cognitive problems. I couldn't see. My physical body was collapsing. My spine was twisted. My hips were twisted. My knees were collapsing like I was Forrest Gump. I had to take that all into consideration when I set my goals, because there was things that cognitively I just could not do. There was things physically that I could not do, and that has to be taken into consideration. And if you don't, you'll set yourself up for failure and you'll embarrass yourself in front of your own unconscious mind. Don't do that. Next, your goals have to be realistic. Is this realistic, all things considered? And make sure it's timed and make sure it's towards what you want. Make sure it's good for you. When you set your goals, make sure it's good for you. Make sure it's good for your family. Make sure it's good for your community. And make sure when you set your goals, make sure it leaves the world a better place. And if you do that, ladies and gentlemen, your success is virtually guaranteed. It'll accelerate your success 10, 20 times this year. You'll multiply your results 3, 4, 5 times more than you could ever imagine when you do it correctly. So if you're joining me today, hit the like button, leave a comment, and follow me, and I'll see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day.